Today we are cooking another two really lovely dishes. One, obviously, as you can see here, Caterina, I don't know if you can see, will include the lovely aubergines. So we'll do stuffed aubergines, as you can see, with lots of nice stuff inside, with cherry tomatoes, garlic, tofu, and some herbs, and this bread will come into it later as well. And then we'll be doing chestnuts. As you can see, as you saw in my message, you know, before we do the Caldarroste, which is like a traditional thing that you find this time of year in Italy everywhere you go. So what you do an incision in the chestnuts on the top, basically on the skin, and then you soak them for about 2 hours. I'll show you two methods for cooking chestnuts today. That's a traditional method, and then I'll show you how they cook them in Sicily as well, which is slightly different. Ideally, you know, you will find people prepare this dish on an open fire. Obviously, we can't do that here, so we will do it on the hob with a pan. But there are some special pans as well to cook Caldarroste, which are the ones that you see with the holes in the bottom. I know you might have seen them somewhere when you were traveling through Italy. But don't worry about it. We can use normal pans as well. Okay, before we start, I want to say thank you again to those of you that are contributing to Buy One Give One. You know, thanks to your attendance last week, we were able to provide 3 years of bicycle transportation for a school child in Cambodia. That is very important because often their school is far away from where they live, and a bicycle is the only way that they can get to school, you know, in time. Because otherwise they have to walk very, very long distances, and because of that, attendance is very low. So it's one of the ways that we can make sure that the children have got a way of getting to school and back in a decent time, and ensuring that they attend school instead of being illiterate. Okay, so let's get cooking. Okay, so I will do everything here so we can, so at least everybody can see. And okay, I'll have my pan ready over here. And the first thing we do, here would be preparing the aubergines. And actually, even before that, maybe I will clean the garlic. It's always a fidgety task. But it's never 100% clean. So I'll do that first. Oops. So I've done, as usual, apart from putting the chestnuts in water, I've done no preparation. Okay, so I can do everything here in front of you. The only thing I've done, obviously, I've washed the aubergines and the tomatoes, so they're ready to be used. Okay, let's clean. First of all, we have a little bit of garlic, so I'll be using not too much this time, but about 3 cloves of garlic. So I will remove the skin as usual.
Deborah says, I prepared the broccoli last week and it was wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much, Deborah. What are you talking about? The broccoli in red wine? Yeah. Yeah, yes. I think I must say that I've enjoyed that dish. Both Caterina and I have enjoyed that dish so much. And funny enough, it's even I actually prefer it when it's cold, because you can really taste all the flavors. So We had a bit when we cooked it, and then the rest went in the fridge. And actually, we ate it like cherries. It was so nice. You know, a little bit of broccoli every now and again.
We did also, she said.
Delicious. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased you did. And something actually, funny enough, you say that because we bought some more broccoli. We want to do it again before we run out of red wine. Okay, so we got the garlic. So as usual, I get the garlic crusher and I crush it in the pan. 2 and 3. So this will be ready to go. If you don't have a garlic crusher, I will recommend that you get one. It's one of those little tools that they're really useful in Italian cooking, and it's so cheap as well. I mean, it's, you know, they're not really expensive to buy.
Deborah said that she got some broccoli to make it this week as well.
Oh, you won't regret it, Deborah. Yeah. Okay, so the garlic is done. And let's start with these. With the aubergines. And this. My faithful cup of tea. Cheers. And let me hear first. I mean, anybody's trying to do this live, or are you all doing it at some stage later? Okay. So we cut the aubergine along the length, and I mean, obviously you can remove these if you want, but it looks better. It looks more dramatic if you leave them on. Obviously, you want it that part.
Deborah said later, and Carol says this evening.
Okay, great. And then what we need to do, we need to basically dig out the flesh inside of the aubergine with a spoon or a teaspoon.
Sue's cooking later as well.
Okay.
And later in the week, have no aubergines at the moment. That's Kathleen.
Okay. You always have to have aubergines, Catherine. It's one of those vegetables that's so nice, so tasty. You can use in so many sauces as well, or just that's in the pan.
Katerina. Oh, thank you, Carol. Our father's doing well, thank you. He's going to be moving into a flat, so that he doesn't have to go up and down stairs. And the rabbit is back to his normal self, coming into the kitchen and the lounge, asking, well, wanting treats. Until he gets them, so he's back to normal. Thank you for asking.
Okay. So that's one done, and we carry on doing this with all the aubergines.
Catherine says, I rely on online food shopping, and Tesco had no broccoli last week, so I could not try the recipe. I did the other one though with normal cauliflower, and it was delicious.
Oh, lovely! No, it's good to know. Good to know, because obviously we use the Romanesco cauliflower, which is harder. So it's good to know that you can do it with the normal cauliflower as well. I haven't tried that though. So I will trust you. I will trust you with your attempt. Okay, so that's number 2. And what we do is I'll get a plate, and all the inside of the aubergines are cut it into like little pieces, or actually even smaller. That's little cubes. You can.
Deborah says she's not found the Romanesco yet.
Oh, strange, because there's quite at the moment we find it quite often in the supermarket, the local supermarket, without having to look too hard. But it's possibly the season might have finished where you are, but it's available normally until mid October, beginning of November. But you know, nowadays, you know, things are flown from all over the world, so you can find pretty much everything at any time. But it is just at the end of the season now. Okay, so
Okay, Catherine said she got one from Tesco, but it's very small.
yeah, but you don't need to be Catherine. You don't need it to be that big, because it's it actually it does a lot with the, you know, for the size. It has a lot of flavor inside, so it doesn't, even if it's small, you can still use it for that dish quite happily.
Carol says she made a pasta that used normal broccoli, and she cooked al dente, which is great, and added near the end. So she added obviously a broccoli near the end. It was lovely. We'll post a picture on Facebook for you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, so we keep doing this. This is 3 out of 8. This is a little bit bigger, so I'll use the knife. Oh, don't worry. Just...
Okay, so Deborah, there's a chat. Deborah says that she posted a picture of the broccoli on Facebook.
Oh, thank you very much, Deborah. I haven't actually been on Facebook this week. We've been very busy with work, and we're working late every night pretty much. So I haven't actually been on Facebook. But thank you very much. I'll have a look at it later.
Maria's asking a question. Sorry to interrupt you. Maria's asking if she used white cauliflower, would I still use red wine or white wine? She was using cauliflower instead.
But it's still red wine, because it's yeah, it gives more flavor, a lot more flavor. As I said, I haven't. I mean, you should ask Catherine that question actually, because I haven't actually cooked that dish with the white cauliflower. So I would still use red wine, but as I haven't done it before, so you might try it and tell me what it's like. Catherine, actually, did you use a white wine or red wine? No? She was away from the...
Okay, she's answered. Made the other dish with the pasta. She made the red wine.
Ah, okay.
As the other one with the broccoli and the pasta together.
Yeah, yeah. Slightly different dish. Okay. Number 2.
Maria said she'll try it and let you know.
Excellent. That's what I like, because it's you know, often with Italian cooking, you get the idea, you know, how to do something, and then you can experiment, you can try, because as long as you keep to those kind of like guidelines, more or less, it's you know, you can try slight variation. Everybody in Italy will have their recipe for, you know, for the traditional dishes, and everybody does it slightly differently. You know, and it's nice because when you're between Italian and you're talking about dishes, and oh, I'll do it like this and I'll do it like that, and it's always like conversation to often what it is like the family traditions, the way that my family has always done it this way, and somebody else will say, yes, my family's done it that way. And it's interesting. I mean, it's not that there is a, you know, exactly one right and one wrong way of doing it. There's lots of right ways, and the way to see it is when you eat it. You know, as long as it's nice, you can't go wrong, really.
Question. Catherine says, you're preparing for aubergines. How many portions will you get from the recipe?
Well, each half aubergine. I mean, it depends on how you're serving it, because this could be a starter, could be a main course. I mean, as a main course, I would have 2 or 3 halves normally of aubergines each, at least, maybe even 4. So if it says a, you know, kind of like starter, and then you got something else, then even just half an aubergine is a portion. Okay. So, but for the 2 of us, this was last us about, you know, at least about 3 days. Probably not. Probably not. The problem is at the moment we are very regular the way that we eat. You know, it's not as if we have a proper thing, because we're working very hard at the moment, and often, you know, if I come back late, you know, Katerina obviously will eat before me, and then I eat later. So it's more like what we do on a Saturday often lasts us a little bit, because it's almost like who can grab it first. Okay, this is that aubergine number 3. Just the last one, and then we start cooking. My stomach is already grumbling. I don't know if you can hear that, but I haven't had time to have breakfast this morning. So I am really looking forward to this. Okay, it's pretty much done. Ready to be more. Okay, let's scoop out all the inside of the aubergine. Okay. Yep, this is ready. Okay, before I finish this, what I want to do now, I want to just put a bit of salt in the aubergines. The aubergine, you know, the boats as I call them. And then I will let them rest for half an hour until we're ready to fill them in upside down, so that they will shed some of the water they have.
There's a lovely message from Deborah. She says, thank you so much for doing these classes. I enjoy them so much, and it makes the pandemic more bearable.
Oh, thank you very much, Deborah. Thank you. It means a lot. It means a lot, that, because it's helping me actually. It's because I know that I got to be here on a Saturday for you. It's forcing me as well to revisit part of my youth and my childhood. So it actually is helping me as well. There we are. I'll put them upside down. Oh, sorry. This was Katerina's gestures that alerted me to the wardrobe door being open. Okay, so I'll just leave it here. And what it does, the salt will actually draw the water out. It will remove some of the water in the aubergines. Okay, so I'll just finish cutting these off, cutting these up. As you know, it's very soft, the pulp of the aubergines, very easy to cut. Okay. Oops. Okay, now that I got it all cut, what we'll do is I'll just put this aside for now. As usual, we get some olive oil, put it in the pan. Got about like 3 tablespoons of olive oil in there. And I've got, just at the moment in there, we just add the garlic. Okay, so I will let it warm up for a minute, for a minute or two until it starts sizzling a little bit. Okay, and then we'll add the aubergine pulp inside. Okay. So this is ready to go in. The next thing, in the meantime, I'll just dry my tomatoes, and I'll need about 100 grams of tomatoes. So I've got a bit more here than I need. So I will weigh them.
Just got a Facebook post from Carol. It says saying about the pasta that she made al dente was delicious. As for the page with a better post, but feel free to add so obviously the picture.
Oh, it wouldn't let you? That's strange.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're using like tomatoes, if you have like vine tomatoes like these ones, they're so much more tasty. Okay, so I've got my tomatoes ready, and in a minute, what we'll need to do with the tomatoes, we just cut them in half. Okay.
Well, I think she's accessed the page now, so
okay.
Hopefully she'll be able to post that.
It's still warming up at the moment. Okay, so with it, as usual with the garlic, if you remember, just as soon as the start sizzling, and you can start smelling the aroma of the cooking garlic, then it's time to add the other ingredients. Okay, whatever you are cooking. Now, it's not particular just because of this dish, but whatever you're cooking, the garlic just needs to basically what we're doing, we're flavoring the oil with the garlic, and as soon as the oil starts being at the right temperature, then we add the other ingredients. Okay, just about to start sizzling now. Now can't resist this, so we'll have one of these lovely tomatoes. Okay, so it's sizzling now. We just let it. Don't worry, don't need to Of course, I'll just let it go for another few seconds, and then we'll add. Okay, add the aubergines.
Deborah's asking, do you mean that Deborah's asking if our pet is better? Do you mean our rabbit? Because we don't have a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much better. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking.
He's back to his normal greedy self.
Yeah. With rabbits, they if they don't eat often, it can be fatal. So he stopped eating and developed what they call gut status. So we had to have an injection to help him basically get that moving. So and we kept him at the vets where they fed him regularly. So he's back to normal. He's a very greedy rabbit, but back to normal. And thanks for asking.
Okay. I'll just add a little bit. Just add a pinch of salt to this.
We have 2 rabbits.
What's that? Oh, you are?
No,
Yeah.
Deborah's asking. We have 2.
They're brothers, yeah.
They're brothers. There's chocolate and raisin.
We must invite them in at some stage.
They're very big.
They look like a big cat or a small dog, you know. Yeah, but very happy though. They make us, they enrich our life really. And it's this is the first time we've had rabbit actually, and I was surprised to see how intelligent they are. They really are. They really are like the only way I can describe it, I would say, just like a silent dog. You know, they're just as friendly. They come when you call them. Obviously, they're very greedy, so they're happy to have their treats all the time. But they're really lovely and they're very soft. They're very soft as well.
Oh, Carol says she used to have 2 big rock-eared rabbits. Oh. What were their names?
Tufty and Gracie. It is true.
They're very nice, very friendly.
Long time ago, they were my children, so they've been gone quite a long time now. But I've got replacements, not rabbits though.
We'll also add some mixed herbs. Just sprinkling on mixed herbs. Okay, while this is going, let me go and cut the tomatoes because we'll add them in a minute. We leave that on a low flame.
Its names are called chocolate and raisin. One is grey and one is a beige colour.
Okay, so the tomatoes can be cut in
Maria
half.
says- Oh, Maria says sounds like you have fond memories of the rabbits, Carol.
Actually, what I'll do, some of these I'll cut in half, and some of the smaller ones. Well, some of these are quite big for a cherry tomato, so I will cut them in 4.
Very cute.
What you do in a minute, you can put this on a. Shall I go and call them? What do you think?
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I've got this, because this will need to go.
Goodness. Carol says I have 1 dog, 2 cats, 3 Shetland ponies, all rescues. Can't resist saving them.
Oh, bless. This is really lovely.
Maria's asking if all the aubergines, the ones that you cut, are they in the pan
Yes, they are.
on low
Mother.
heat?
They are, yes. Just before I put the tomatoes in, I just want to taste the salt. Yeah, I might add another little bit after before the end of the cooking. Okay, the tomatoes go in. Okay. Now I'll give it a swirl and then we cover for about 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay, Catherine says, I only have one cat and he's on my lap asleep at the moment. Oh, bless.
Okay, so this is the thing. We leave it alone for a minute. Let me go and I'll show you the rabbits before. I'll just go and get, as you can see, their treats. They're not Greek, crunchy. And being Italian, yes, I have tried them. But they're very, very hard. So it's not something I will try again.
There's animals with such unconditional love. He's just going to go and get them. Looks as though we're all animal lovers. So
chocolate is asleep.
chocolates of sea raisins coming.
You're a bit shy for a second. What's happening? Come on. Come on, come and show your face. Come and show your face.
There's his head.
There he is. There he is. Come on. Come on.
Further than his tummy.
I'll get you on the next one. I'll get him to come up.
He's the naughty one. He's into everything.
They got their own little
So
character.
cute,
Yeah,
really,
they
isn't it?
really are.
Pardon?
Come on. It's a slower eater.
He's a slower eater.
Where chocolate instead is the giddy one.
Lift them up, you can see his white tummy. It's so, so gorgeous.
It's still eating. Now he's ready for the next one. Come on. Come on. Come on. Up, 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 up.
I can't see his tummy. No,
You see it?
no, just ignores.
So normally chocolate, whenever there is a like food or kind of like just the thought of food is out like a flash, but he's sleeping right now, so it wasn't.
Oh, he's gone down well.
Let me just now wash my hands.
Comments about the rabbits.
Sorry?
More positive comments about the rabbits.
Okay, so the next step in doing this is the tofu. So yeah, about 200 grams of tofu. So I've got a little bit more here. This is about 280. I'll go and get rid of all the water. So we need a natural tofu, so don't need any smoky or any other ingredients in it. There's many variation nowadays on sale.
Is it firm top? The Jeff was asking.
Is it? Yes.
Firm, yeah.
This is it. Was a mechanism. As you can see, it is quite firm. Okay, so I need about, this is about 280, so I need 200 grams, so I will cut this out, leave that. And I will just again cut it into small cubes. Can you look at the time, Katerina? So
It's 12:37.
okay, this needs to be cooking for about 10 minutes, the aubergines and tomatoes. So after, when in about 10 minutes, then we'll add the tofu as well. Okay.
Hillary's just arrived.
Oh, hello. Hello, Hillary. Good morning. Good afternoon. So we are, you joined us about halfway through preparing the aubergines. So what I've done so far, I mean, it's not actually, you haven't missed that much. What we've done is that we've cut the aubergines in half. I don't know if I can show it. Yeah, so you cut the aubergines in half like this, and we scooped out all the flesh of the aubergines, and then put some salt in it and leave them for about half an hour upside down, so that they can all the water can come out.
So it's just where she's late.
Okay, no problem. You're all busy. So at the moment we've warmed up a little bit of garlic in olive oil, and then we added the flesh of the aubergine for a few minutes, and then we added about 100 grams of cherry tomatoes, just cut in half, or if they are quite big, cut in 4. And we just put it in with a little bit of salt and covered it to cook for about 10 minutes. Yeah, sure.
Basically what it looks like.
Okay, so we're just inside there, happily cooking away, and in a few minutes then we'll add the tofu as well. And where is my... Well, that is done. Let me put this other one away. Fridge. Okay, and the other thing we will do, we will need a bit of I don't know how to call it in English, but it's the mollica di pane is in Italian. Pane is bread, so it's the bread without the crust. But you need quite a spongy bread, so you wouldn't normally use the you use the sourdough to mix with this at the end. Katerina just like asking for a little taste of tofu. It doesn't taste too much, but it just got the texture. Okay. So I'm just going to wash this because I need it. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I've run out of the bread that we've made. We'll make some more tomorrow. So I have to go and, I'm very annoyed this morning because I have to go and buy some bread. I haven't bought any bread now for months because we make our own every weekend. Okay. So Katerina is very fond of this part of the bread. Okay, so I'll just cut kind of like a thick slice. Okay, and just use the what we call the mollica, which is just the inside, you know, the soft part of the bread. But I won't throw the rest away because I love it, and I will just eat it later with a bit of cheese. Okay. So this is what we'll need, just a little bit. And okay, and we'll just I'll just make it into small pieces. You can just do it with your hands.
The literal translation of mollica is crumb, so it doesn't really.
It's not. No, I know that.
Yeah, it doesn't really go with what you're doing, you know, what you're saying.
I was looking at the, sometimes there aren't words in languages to describe things, but it's not breadcrumbs, because breadcrumbs will be actually done with the hard part of the bread.
You know, on Google it says
list,
it's
yeah.
literal translation. So is that one you made from Mother Yeast? That's from Sue, no? No,
so unfortunately we ran out because it's so nice. We made 2 last weekend, but we demolished it. So we had to go out and buy some for this recipe. So this is Sainsbury's, I'm afraid. But it was a similar shape to that, the one that we've made ourselves. We got, actually, I'll show you what we got. Some left of the. I made some like bread with white flour, and then this is okay. So this is ready as well. Okay. I also made some bread with experimenting with buckwheat flour. So this is what we have got left. This is a buckwheat. It's a mix of I've used obviously the starter, which is made with white flour, and then all the flour for this bread is buckwheat. But it doesn't rise as much as white flour. So I'm still experimenting with different mixes and see when I find one that I'm really happy with. This is nice, but it's very, very dense. Okay, what time is it now, Katerina? I think it's probably time to...
1:45.
Okay, yeah, so this has been about 10 minutes. Okay. So I need the tofu. So we'll add the tofu and we'll let it cook for another few minutes. This time with the lid off. And this is time maybe also to regulate. I want to have a little bit of salt, and also a little bit of, where is my black pepper? And I will add a little bit of black pepper as well. So I will give a good taste in a second. Oh, actually, before I forget, it's time to turn the oven on. This one will need to preheat the oven to 180 degrees. Okay.
Marie's asking about the recording. She wants to check this on Monday and wants to follow the recording.
Okay, Maria, that gives me a push to actually put the recording online. So when we finish this, I will I promise actually I will do this recording and the recipe.
And Maria's asking, did we? Sorry, did you mix the herbs to the pan in the pan after the chopping?
No, the herbs were already there when I put the aubergines. I put them straight away. Okay, so let's taste it. I think it's just about right. Just add a little bit of salt. Not much because I don't want to overdo it.
We'll let you know where it's posted, Maria.
It's in a Genius U. It's on the Genius
Yeah.
U page. You have connection to that as well, and also you'll find it on there.
And did you add pepper?
Yes, I did. I did just now. So this is pretty much ready. How many of these have I got? Actually, I'll tell you what, I've got 8 aubergines. So just to give you, this is more for color than anything else. As I got 4 tomatoes left, I just cut them in half, and I will put 1 in each aubergine, so that you can see them. But I will just throw them in there just to shed a little bit of the water for a couple of minutes before I use them. This is so nice already. I could eat this like this, and you can obviously with aubergines. They're very easy to cook. So you could if you want just cut the other bits of the aubergine and just eat them like this. They're delicious.
What heat is the oven on?
It's 180. So I just leave it there for a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, I will ready my pan. I just need to wipe a little bit for the Caldarroste. Now, do I have any? Just have to check. No, actually, wrong pan. It's too small because I need to have a lid as well. Okay. Okay, so this is pretty much ready. I'll just give another minute simply for these tomatoes that against my better judgment, I added at the last minute. But I just wanted to give a little bit of color as well. I'll leave them actually at the bottom so they can turn them around as well. Like this. Give them another minute. Okay. So what I've done with these chestnuts, which I'll show you in a minute.
Evelyn doesn't know about this. Evelyn, about the chestnuts. Do you want to just quickly?
Evelyn, I thought somebody came in later, was Evelyn? Or?
Oh. Did I get confused? Oh, Hillary. Sorry, Hillary.
Oh, Hillary, this is the second thing we're doing with this Caldarroste, which is kind of like roasted chestnuts. So what we've done is just like made an incision for about an inch on the chestnuts, and then soak them for a couple of hours. But I'll show you 2 ways of cooking them. Okay, so these have been soaking for 2 hours, and these I haven't cut yet. So they're just in warm water, and well, not even as long as that. Okay. Now I'll just drain them. I'll drain them and dry them. Okay, so I'll just put them in here. We'll get them going in a minute. I'll just prepare them for now. And I'll start draining these out as well. I got 2 sachets today from M&S of these. So I've got about 800 grams here. But I tell you what, they won't last very long. So it's easy to cook about 1 kilo of them, and then snack on them every now and again. They're so lovely, and it will have such a lovely smell in your house, in your kitchen. Okay, these are ready now. Finish off. So you can see these are staying pretty much in one piece, so I can use them for the filling. Now I just want to let it cool down for a minute, move it off the flame, and then I will add the bread as well to it. I let it cool down a bit because I don't want it to go into a mushy, horrible thing. And while that is cooling down, I will add some basil. Nothing better than, using your own basil plant. So what I will do, I will just drop it in there. Okay, and I will mix it in. You can smell the basil. It doesn't even need to cook, but just by mixing in with the warm ingredients, all the smell is it's revealed. It's absolutely delicious. I'll have a little bit more there. Okay. Okay, that is done, and now I can add these as well. So the bread obviously absorbs a lot of the juices in the aubergine, so it's kind of like a drier mix, and it holds the filling together. I mean, if you don't have this, if you don't have the sourdough bread to add, you can use some breadcrumbs, but it's much better. It's much better like this. It keeps more. The bread keeps in one piece rather than just adding volume if you add just normal breadcrumbs. Okay, so this is ready. What we do now, we'll go and get the aubergines. As you can see, come and have a look at it. Can you see as I move them, all the water that they're releasing? This is because we added salt. We added salt to the aubergines, and that way they are shedding some of the water. Okay, you can see the dripping now. Okay, so let's start filling them up. Okay, let me just switch it here. And let's see if I should be able to fit them all in here. So I will just get some baking paper. Put the line my tray. Okay, and now we can start filling. Okay, I'll try and keep, if I can, one tomato near the top on each aubergine. Tomato there.
The nice thing about Italian cooking is no food goes to waste, does it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Remember
Exactly.
your grandmother making pasta, and then following day she'd make another dish out of what was left over and put it in the oven with the mozzarella and parmesan, and it become a pasta bake.
Yeah.
She did that with everything, didn't she?
Well, that was one of the main tricks, is that she always cook probably about 3 or 4 times as much as anybody could eat. So she would have another dinner, lunch or dinner already prepared pretty much. And she had one of those huge chest freezers, that looked like she had absolutely everything in there. So whatever she didn't need to use straight away, she put in the freezer, and many things were already prepared. So often when when we were not around, things would be in the freezer, and then when we came around, just things would come out of the freezer and go straight in the oven. So just make sure that you take all the liquids out. I'm hoping to have some filling left to eat, but I don't think there's going to be any. Oh, you're just too bad. Only 2 aubergines, so might even not have enough.
The first one, you filled quite a lot. Actually,
Yes, I think the first one, there was also a big one. I filled up quite a lot. I have to take some filling out. Okay. The last 2. Okay. I might need to get some of the filling out of the first fat one. I think, unfortunately, I'm sorry, no filling left to eat. How bad am I? Take some more out of this. Okay. Okay, we're ready to go. Okay, just trying to, if you can, try to fit them in so that they don't move around. So if you can fit them in quite tight. And they can stay also, if you do, they can stay nice and upright as well. Otherwise you get a lot of the juices and the filling that will end up on the bottom of the pan. Okay, this is ready. So it should take about, depends obviously on your oven, but it should take about half an hour. So while that is cooking, and could you take the time, please, Katerina? Then we can get going with our chestnuts. Okay. Actually, this is the best. I'd rather use this if I can. So I'll just give it a quick wash and then I'll reuse the same pan.
Catherine says, could you grate some vegan parmesan cheese over the aubergines as they go into the oven?
Yes, Catherine, you can actually, I would mix it in. Rather than grate it on top, because what it will happen, it doesn't really melt very well. So it will burn at the top of the aubergines. So, but what you can do, you can mix it in. Oops, sorry.
Oops. Yeah, sorry.
That's it.
Sorry.
Okay, so I will show you two different ways of preparing these. The first one is so we'll do with the chestnuts that we just they were cut. Say these were cut. And you can hardly see it now, but just an incision on the top, about an inch, and then they were soaked for 2 hours. And then we will just start. We just put them on the pan. I've got about half a kilo here.
Sorry, Sue's asking if you added walnut.
Oh gosh, I forgot. Very, very good. Before I get this going, thank you very much. That was one of the ingredients I forgot to add. Okay, I'm really sorry. There's a reason why I didn't add the walnut. I just realized now is because we just ran out. I forgot to buy some this morning. What you would do, you don't need many, but just a few, just a handful, and you chop them into small pieces and you just add them to the filling at the end. You don't need to cook them. So you just, as we added the bread, you add a few walnuts, walnut pieces, and just mix it all in, and then you put it in a filling. Okay. So I don't know why. I thought we really yesterday was there, but this morning it just disappeared. So
Is it fallen in the cupboard?
do you think so?
I don't know.
No.
Sometimes it does. No,
They're not there.
walnuts.
Right?
No walnuts.
No, sorry, no walnuts. Okay, it's basically something that goes in right at the end. Yeah, I don't have it, unfortunately, but it'll still be nice without the walnuts. Okay, so what we'll do here. So there's no other ingredients needed. There's no oil or no nothing that goes into the pan for this preparation. We'll just put it on without a lid on. I just warm the pan up and then I will lower the heat, and they would take about again half an hour to cook, and we will toss them to make sure they cooked on either side. But they will be ready when they look quite burnt on the outside, but don't worry about it because the inside will still be nice and lovely and fluffy.
Maria has to go. She says thank you, and she'll try the aubergine dish and place that on Facebook.
Fantastic. Thank you, Maria. Okay, and these are the other ones. They haven't been cut yet. Yes, I will try something different that I've never tried before. I will do them as they cook them in Sicily, which is with sale grosso, which means it's the rough sea salt. This one, so it's big chunks, big pieces like this. Okay, and what we will do, I won't have many because I've never tried it before. I've been assured that they are really, really delicious as well. I'll put like a nice layer of salt in the bottom. Don't worry because you're not gonna eat the salt. Just for cooking. It's often, this is a method that's used for cooking fish as well. Okay. So just as before, we need to score the chestnuts on the top. And then I place them on the salt like this. Because if you don't, what tends to happen? Just let me turn this down. What tends to happen is that they actually can explode. So you want to do that. And one thing that helps with these as well is while you're cooking, we'll have some paper on top like this, which we'll keep wetting with water, just sprinkling. You just get some water here. Some people even use wine instead. So just a sprinkle of water, and we keep every now and again. We'll do the same to stop the paper from burning as well. Okay. My knife now. And carry on doing the same with these until I've got enough to fill this pan. And often you see, when you see these being prepared in Sicily, you will notice that instead of being kind of like charred and burned like in the rest of Italy, they will be white, because what they tend to do is that they cook them on an open fire, and they keep adding salt to the fire. So obviously we can do this here. That's the closest way of cooking them with that method that we can, is this. And funny enough, these are very easy to find as well. You've got many of these chestnut trees in the UK, not to be mistaken for the horse chestnuts, which are your conkers that you all know, you would have played with as children. But the thing, what is different is the the thing that they grow into, which is kind of like a green ball, and there's a difference between the horse chestnuts and the normal chestnuts. But nowadays, I mean, if you go and walk in any forest, you'll find many chestnut trees in there, and nobody's picking the chestnuts up. So I found many when I was, running just around the corner from here, in one of the parks. And you pick these up when they fall to the ground, so you don't have to climb on, because they're big trees, so it wouldn't be easy to climb on the trees to retrieve them. But you wait for the green ball to fall to the ground and to open up, so you can pick up the chestnuts. Okay, so I think I can fit them all in, just about enough. Sorry, are you timing the aubergines? You put 30 minutes in.
They go mad in the mushroom season as well, don't they?
Sorry?
So they go mad in the mushroom season in Italy.
Yeah, and it's one thing that comes actually when the chestnuts are ready. The mushrooms as well are in the best season as well, because the mushrooms feed off the rotting material. So when all the leaves fall down from the trees, that's the time for the mushrooms to thrive, really. And funny enough is that if you normally in Italy you can go on people's land to pick up mushrooms. The only time that you can't is when the chestnuts are actually in season, because they're very valuable, and it's actually illegal to go on where there are lots of chestnut trees to go and pick mushrooms, because you could pick the chestnuts instead. Okay, so with this thing instead, we still take about the same time, but for this cooking we will cover the chestnuts.
Deborah says, have you never seen a chestnut tree in Texas? They may exist, but not popular there.
Texas. I'm not sure. Texas is very hot, so it might be a little bit too hot. Normally, chestnuts are grown in on the hills and in the mountains more than at sea level. I don't know. Have you got chestnut trees in Texas? I've got no idea. I've never been to Texas, so I wouldn't know of a personal experience.
What heat under the chestnuts? That's a question from Catherine.
And I have got them. I have got them on a low to medium heat. But the only difference, you can do it on low heat, you can do it on high heat. It will just vary the amount of time that it takes for them to be ready. The other thing we can do while we're waiting is getting the parsley ready and the other bits of basil.
Deborah says it's very hot very much of the year.
That's what I thought as well.
Were the chestnuts soaked? Wait a minute, sorry, let me just get that message from Stu. Were the chestnuts on the salt soaked first?
Yes, they were soaked. Normally they soaked in warm water for about half an hour. Actually, as we were doing it, probably they've been there for an hour. And we cut them before putting them in the salt.
We've got another one. Carol says that they get mushrooms in their pony fields sometimes. Lots of horse chestnut trees around there where she lives. Children use them to play conquerors.
Yeah. And obviously they call horse chestnuts because the horse eat them. Obviously, because they like them. Do your horses like horse chestnuts, Carol? So I'm just chopping a bit of parsley to just put on the aubergines at the end. Okay. So I'll get it ready so we can sprinkle it on the aubergines when they come out of the oven. How much time have they been in there?
Right, about 13 minutes. There's another 17 minutes left.
Okay, another 17 minutes to go.
Another question, another comment.
There's none around them. It says we have to be careful what we eat. That's Carol. That's with the mushrooms. Oh, sorry, there's horse chestnuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't. No. Yeah, I suppose they're on a special diet.
Yeah. Sorry, what they eat. Yeah.
Okay. So every now and again we'll your pan will get. Be careful on the pan you use, because obviously there's nothing in there to dissipate the heat. So your pan will get very hot. So especially your handle may start melting a little bit. So be careful. Okay. Okay, any questions? Any questions you have while we are sorting this out? We'll have to. There'll be a little bit of waiting time, obviously. There isn't that much that we need to do. With these, apart from giving them a turn every now and again, and giving them a twist as well. What it does, apparently the salt. I mean, I'm really I'm curious to see what the result will be of cooking them in salt. Apparently, it makes them very easy to peel as well at the end when they're ready. The idea to have some chestnut actually came to me the other day as I was walking through Bromley, and there was a little Italian stall selling roasted chestnuts. So we still got a couple left. And you can see them, they crackle and open them. So it makes it, using salt, it makes it even easy to peel as well, the skin. So this is the skin of the chestnuts inside. So this is once the skin has been removed. So most of the skin has come off, but still a little bit left.
Really nice warm, aren't they?
Yeah, they're lovely. They're lovely warm. And do we have a newspaper?
No,
we don't. Because normally these are the nice. Normally they're served in a roll of kind of like a bread, kind of like a thick bread paper, something like this. And in a way, in the same way that you eat your fish and chips, it serves in like often like a cone, newspaper cone. And you just walk around the town eating these lovely chestnuts.
Deborah said that she's never seen a chestnut, and Carol says that you're making her hungry.
Okay, when the paper goes dry, then sprinkle another little bit of water. Have a look at these now. Instead of the salt, you can see that the difference is they are more moist, because that keeps the salt keeps all the moisture in as well. It creates almost even if I turn them, the salt now has gone hard. you wanna have a look at it? So it's basically by having salt on the pan. You see what I'm saying? I'm moving it. The salt is hard now. It's created a layer. So it's almost like cooking these on an open fire, putting them on the coals. The salt has the same sort of effect. I'm so hungry myself. Actually, you can see this. So you got to be careful because when you're doing this, obviously the pan gets really hot. So make sure you don't touch it, otherwise you scream. I think still got the signs of the last time I did that. Put it back on. I'm just going to sprinkle a little sprinkle of water. Oh, 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left for the aubergines. Now, let me ask you a question. What about all of you? What are you making for Christmas preparations? Because obviously we don't know yet if we'll be able to see, family and friends. Have you made arrangements either way? We got obviously we're hoping to have Katerina's dad and his partner here for Christmas Day, but obviously we don't know yet if that will be allowed or not. But we'll go and get him probably. So it's going to be the three of us plus them. And the rabbits, yes. They're going to have a special Christmas carrot for the rabbits. What about you? Have you what you think you'll do at Christmas?
Doesn't seem real though. It's just around the corner. Deborah
just around the corner.
Says it will just be her husband and herself. Her stepson is at uni and will go to his mum's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's okay. Nice, peaceful. We used to until a few years ago when Francesca was small. Do you remember we used to stay in pyjamas all day, Christmas Day?
Yes. Well, we have obviously we are Catholics, and in our tradition, we normally celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve rather than on Christmas Day. We would have normally have a big dinner with friends around on Christmas Eve until the late hours in the morning, and then on Christmas Day we would stay with Francesco in our pyjama all day, opening presents with a treasure hunt. Where Katrina always organized the treasure hunt that would last pretty much all day. So Francesco had to find out, he had clues to find his presents, so you have to go from one present to the next. Some of the presents would be kind of like silly presents, like a very little thing or an orange, and some of the presents would be meaningful. But that way it would kind of like stretch out throughout the day, and then we'll have something to eat and watch some Christmas movies or something like that.
Yes, Deborah said that sounds like fun. It was great fun.
It was actually. It's still not actually funny enough is that Francesco said he's coming home around the 10th of December. He said he still wants a treasure hunt this year. although he's 18, he's enjoyed the tradition so much that he still wants to carry on.
So Carol says cake and pudding will be made this afternoon. My youngest son and his wife, who is Thai, will join us. My son is disabled, so we are in a bubble. We'll have presents and family games. That sounds fantastic.
Oh, that sounds really good. That's all that Christmas is about. I remember actually from from when I was young, you know, the bigger memory apart from the food was actually the games that were played. They were played just around Christmas.
Yeah. Hilary says she'd like it to be Ian and her daughter and son and her dad, but not sure if it will be allowed.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Yeah, but I think they're trying to do everything to have kind of like Christmas as close to normal as possible. But
the police said they're not going to be knocking on doors Christmas Day.
Well,
unless there be parties.
Well, that's good to hear.
The police commissioner said that, so it's from her word, her mouth.
The only thing is that the only thought is that if things are not, if the numbers are not going down, it would be a bit silly to just have a big jolly with all your friends and things, and then just have to pay for it later.
Yeah, Catherine's sort of very, it's very true. The thing to remember is that just because it is allowed doesn't mean it's safe.
Exactly.
I know that's the problem.
How are we doing for time, Katrina?
Just check. Minutes left.
Okay, so another thing that we can talk about is that what we're going to do next week. I was thinking is that how many of you, obviously, I know that most of you are not vegan. But how many of you like spaghetti bolognese? Spaghetti alla bolognese.
Sorry, Catherine's just going on the Christmas theme again. Says that her husband suffers from asthma, so she's got to be. They've been very careful for the last 6 months, so
Can imagine, yeah.
Yeah. The answer is yes. I've forgotten, what did you ask? Oh,
spaghetti bolognese.
Oh yes, that's from Catherine, and yes, from Hilary. And Deborah says we're talking about Christmas again. Deborah says yes, love it, but there was a message before. She says we're concerned about the large Thanksgiving parties, what that will do to the virus. And Carol says we go.
Yeah.
To late service at church on Christmas Eve, but we'll be Zoom this year. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, and sorry, there's another one that I've just missed. Sue says yes, but vegetarian.
Yes, well, that's the whole point. So we'll make a vegan bolognese made with. So we'll make a ragu with lentils. We'll do a lovely lentils ragu. To be honest with you, if you have somebody around that doesn't know that it's vegan, they wouldn't realize.
Things have gone down. Catherine and Sue say that sounds good, and so does Deborah. So they like the idea.
Okay, excellent.
And okay, Carol's there. Yes, bolognese is fine vegan or not, always tasty.
Today I actually forgot quite a few things, and I just remembered I forgot to add olive oil to my aubergines. So what I will do, I'll just add a little bit now. This is almost ready. Let's see.
Catherine says she makes it with minced corn.
I'm not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of corn, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm sure I've used it a couple of times, but I'm really not a fan.
Okay, you've got 4 minutes left.
Okay, so add a little bit more olive oil to just on top of the aubergines, and we'll leave them in for 5 minutes. And then we'll be ready to go. So while they're getting ready to cool down and not to be eaten, you want to start? Come closer, Katerina.
Yeah.
If you want to start showing them, you can see now that they are warming up. You can see how the cut, the effect it has, how they're opening up.
And Maria's saying, did you add the oil so that the aubergines don't get dry? That's one question, and we have another one. Did you hear that?
Yes, basically I've added the oil to, I should have added it at the beginning, both for taste, but also to help with the cooking. Because obviously the oil warms up to temperature. And yes, it does help them to keep a little bit more moist as well.
And Sue wants to know how long the aubergines have been in the oven. Nearly 30 minutes.
Yes, the idea, the cooking time, and then it will vary from your oven as well. But yeah, it should take about 30 minutes.
We have 2 minutes left.
You can see on these ones as well. You can see how they're opening up. So ideally, when they're cooked, they'll be nice. They'll be nice and roasted on the outside, but also kept soft in the middle. That's what we're trying to achieve. Okay. And this is exactly, if you ask me about time, the correct answer is it will take as long as it takes. Okay, so you can you'll be able to smell it when they're ready. Tomatoes. We'll just make some room here so we can put the aubergines in there. And it's funny because when you're cooking something like this in the oven and it's just about to, to be ready, you can start, the aromas are coming out, are wafting out, of the oven and start invading the kitchen. So it's you can smell it. Yeah, my nose and my stomach keeps growling. So because it's, I said I didn't have breakfast today, so I am looking forward to tucking in. Okay. While we're waiting, it's too late to start doing a little bit of tidying up. They are starting as well to, the color is starting to get darker. You can see as they're roasting.
Okay, they're ready. According to 30 minutes.
Aubergines.
Right.
Just give you another minute because I opened the oven. Yeah, that is lovely. I can smell it. Okay, I will just give it another minute, and then we'll take them out, and we'll add the parsley on top, and also for decoration, if you're serving them a dinner party to friends, you can add a little bit of basil as well. Okay, I'll add one leaf of basil each. You can never use too much basil. Wash this off. Okay. Okay, let's bring them out. Voila. So if I can, I just sprinkle.
Deborah says yummy.
Yeah, sprinkle some nice parsley on top. That's a bit of color as well.
Carol says it looks delicious too.
This is the finishing touch. I'm not very good with the finishing touches. I'm more concerned with the taste than with the presentation.
Italian colours, that's from Catherine.
That's very true. Very true. There we are. We just need Pavarotti now on the background. And these are ready. So let me get a plate. So we get a couple of these out. Yeah, sorry.
Can they eat? Catherine's asking if they can be eaten cold as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Actually, a lot of these dishes I prefer cold than hot because they really absorb all the flavors as well. Voila. And if you want, you can also add just a touch of olive oil, just cold. Voila.
Hilary says they look fabulous.
Okay, so now we'll give it a few seconds, just because otherwise, the one thing about the aubergines are they're very, very hot. To keep the heat a little while, so we want to make sure that we can see that these are starting to darken as well. You can see it's starting to get more roasted. Okay. Keep drizzling a bit of water. Let's have a look at these. These we put in a little bit later, a few minutes later, because they have to be cut. So, but they're getting there as well. Okay, are you ready? You ready for a taste? Suppose I better take a picture first, if I can borrow your phone. Okay. Smile. Okay. Okay, now that we've taken the photo, we can tuck in. I think they might need another. I don't think this is quite cooked properly. Let me check. I must say they're not ready yet. So we need to leave them in for a few minutes. Very disappointing because I'm very hungry. I mean, they can be eaten, they're not, but they're not quite done. So we'll go back in. It also depends. I'm never 100% sure when you put them in, but it depends on where you put them in the oven. I had them on a low shelf, so obviously if I had them on a higher shelf, then it would have been cooking earlier. You see, these are almost ready. And as I said, I'd be very curious to see how these are turned out. So let's give one of these a try. Give it a second. When we take them out, one thing that will make them easier to peel. Normally, you put them in a clean tea towel and you leave them rest for about 10 minutes. At the moment, I'm not going to do that because I want to show you as soon as it's cool enough to handle, to show you how to open it. In the meantime, while we are waiting, I'll have another bite of this because I'm so hungry. Even if it's not 100% cooked, it's so tasty already. Okay, let's see if this is ready. Oh, very hot. So these are ones cooked without salt. Okay, in a bigger pan. Oh, so hot.
Catherine says you need a special fingers for that.
Yeah, you do. Oh, there we are. Katrina.
Thank you.
So quite easy to peel already. As you can see, it's nice and cooked on the outside, but it's quite soft in the middle.
Nice.
We just leave them there for another few minutes to finish roasting. But it's absolutely delicious. What do you think, Katrina?
Really, yeah, very nice.
The one thing, you don't want them to overcook for too long because then they get hard inside. They're not as nice. They're not as nice to eat. Well, they're still tasty, but you want them to still be soft in the middle. Okay, so I'll give you another 2 minutes, and I will take those out. And I want to have a go to one of these. So it's the same principle for both of them. When they're ready, you should really keep them in a. What I'll do with those, I will put them in this and then let them rest, and let them rest for a few minutes.
Carol says she loves roasted chestnuts.
They are delicious, and they're so nice. So nice that will give you something to do while you're walking around and peeling them and try not to burn your fingers.
Especially when it's cold. It's so
Yeah.
nice, isn't it?
It is nice. It is nice. Really nice. And so, as you can see, again, this is what I would consider a dessert. I've promised today they will do one savory and one sweet dish. This is often with Italian cooking. The dessert is whatever it's available, fresh, seasonal, and the chestnuts are one of those things that have to be eaten in season. It's not. They're not nice. They're not. I don't like dried chestnuts at all. I much prefer them when they are ready. And my grandmother used to make also chestnuts, a chestnuts jam. Mixing it, they're very, very, very dense, but she would mix it with cocoa as well. So give it taste of chestnuts and chocolate as well at the same time. Oh, this is so hot. These are the ones cooked in salt, but they're still a little bit too soft, so they will need to cook a little bit longer. I can see they're not easy to peel at the moment.
Lovely.
So this is, I just want to show. Oh, it's hot there.
Really nice.
Can have it now. So this is a nice experiment, and it's
Lovely.
both very nice. The ones cooked with salt, by the way, they're not salty at all, as you can see, because the salt got into cake tin into one big piece. Want some more? So it's funny. It's a bit like cooking pasta. You know, you see, you put a lot of salt in the water. The pasta is not very salty. Same thing with this. You can't taste any salt whatsoever. Okay. So these are now done. You see now. And so I'll turn this off. And I will place them in here. If I can get the surface so I can do this. Okay, so what we'll do now. Oops, I dropped some. We'll keep them there to rest. Well, I've dropped these two, we can eat them straight away. These are just starting to get darker now, so we give them another few minutes. I've mistimed that badly, but they still. Let's say give them another few minutes. The one thing is that I rather mistime something on being short or cooking them for too little than for too long, because obviously you know, when ready we can just put them back in, but if you overcook them, then that's by then it's too late. I need to wait. I need to wait. It's just too hot to handle. Ah. There we are. Nice. This is nice. Easy to see. You just put it on here because it's just like too hot to handle it. So you can see a difference in color, quite like yellowish on the outside, but nice and white in the middle.
Deborah says, I definitely agree. You can always cook something a little more.
Yeah, Katrina. As it like a reward for your hard work as a cameraman.
Very nice. Yeah.
Just right, isn't it? It's a matter of taste as well, to see how long you want to roast them for. If you like them a bit harder, then just roast them for a bit longer. There's no problem. The good thing about the salt is that probably you can reuse that, use it when cooking pasta. And as it, there has been no contamination.
Deborah says she wants a taste.
So they're nice and crunchy when you see now when you do this, you can hear it. You know, the skin is brittle. That's the inside chestnut.
Sorry.
Probably it would be easy to eat if I roasted them for a bit longer because it would be easy to get them out in one piece, but I like them soft. So I'm quite happy to get them out now. If you want to get them out in one piece, then just roast them for a little bit longer. Yes. This is pretty much ready. And let's see the aubergines now. Yeah, ready now. Okay, so I'll give you another try. Let's try and see. It's a nice, you can see the filling as well. Nice view. Let's try. Yeah, that's better, definitely much better now. You can see I can get into the skin a lot easier. So that's about right. Catherine, would you like to? I suppose you better wait a second because this has just come out of the oven. So probably going to be. Yeah, unfortunately, because I switched the oven off as well. So then I suppose maybe more about 40 minutes than 30. Okay. Well, pass this on. But you better take it with your hands because this is hot. You don't want it to get. I know.
Very, very nice.
Mm.
The flavours of the herbs are in there as well.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Really tasty.
It's lovely. We can really taste the basil as well. So, yeah, another happy dish. So, even the pepper I can taste, and it's a nice hearty dish as well.
Catherine
So
says, thank you so much for another great demonstration.
This is it. This is delicious.
Sue says all looks delicious. Looking forward to trying this. Thank you.
Okay, let me take these out as well. So
Thank you.
I can give you another look at these.
Hilary says ditto. Deborah says these dishes are also beautiful.
Well, thank you, Deborah. Thank you. Very nice compliments. Let me try this out as well. the other chestnuts out so you can have a look at these as well. Turn them off. Yeah. Nice roasted chestnuts. Again, we'll do the same that we did with the others. So I will keep one out, so at least we can try. We can try pretty much straight away. You hear the noise?
Yep.
Oh. Better wait another minute. I want to see this experiment. So this is the first time I try them with salt like this. So I'm just as curious as you are, probably, to see how they come out. It's definitely too hot to handle. So I'll take one of these out instead. These are a more manageable temperature. Yeah, definitely easier to peel now. So with my impatience, it's a really nice big chestnut. It's finishing. Oh, it's crumbly. There you are, Katerina. Present to you. Yeah, definitely a lot easier to peel once you let them cool down a little.
Maria's so completely my mouthful.
Sorry, Katerina, you were saying?
Maria says thank you too.
These are so lovely. They're nice. It's so nice when I say I don't like them overcooked because I don't want to have them too hard. But what I like is when they're nice and crunchy on the outside, but soft in the middle. Definitely the difference between the two, I must say that the ones cooked in salt are definitely softer and also tastier. They're the same chestnuts, so you can't say that there is a difference in the quality of what we're using. So it's actually I quite like the experiment with the salt. I might try that again. So yeah.
Have they
really
absorbed? Catherine's asking if they've absorbed any of the salty flavour.
No, not at all. As you can see, I'll show you the salt is all in here, and it's all in like in one piece, pretty much like one chunk. Often that's the thing. That's what they say because it's that's the difference. It makes them moister. But as you can see, the salt is all caked in big chunks, so it hasn't transferred to the chestnuts at all. It's just a technique that's used for cooking, and that sorry. So you're not eating any of the salt. So before we go, And any questions at all in everything that we've done? Maria, I will put it on for you tomorrow, promise. And I will put both I mean, the video obviously is the same, but I will put both recipes out as well. So if you want to try yourself next week, at least you got both the written recipe, and if you wanna follow the video, then you can do that too.
Okay, Deborah says thank you. Have a good and safe week.
Thank you very much. We'll do that.
You too.
You too, obviously, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Catherine, bye until next Saturday.
Goodbye, Catherine, and goodbye, everybody else. And yeah, I really look forward to do the vegan bolognese. So see you next week.